take the platform.
Yep. Thank you so much, sir, for this detailed introduction. And it's my pleasure to be here, to be interacting with such an esteemed faculty and young group of students. So let us begin with the. My topic is here is energy efficiency, skills and opportunities. So let me present. Let me know if my screen is visible to all.
Yes, it is visible.
So thank you. So this most of the topics are already covered by Madam Mukherjee. So regarding energy efficiency related or energy sector related skills that we require, the opportunities that we foresee in the near future. So I start with a slide, namely understanding energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is nothing but useful energy output over useful energy input. The intent here is to keep the useful energy output same while reducing the total energy input, or reduce the total energy input while keeping the useful energy output. So what we want to achieve, we want to minimize the energy dissipated to the surroundings. Like in the case of incandescent bulb and LED, due to heat there is a lot of energy wasted in the bulb. That is why the energy efficiency of the bulb is low and that of LED is high. So this is what we want to achieve through energy efficiency. The fundamental here, again I'm reiterating, is to maintain the useful energy output while reducing the total energy input, or reduce the total energy input while maintaining the useful energy output. So as a energy efficiency, if we look at energy efficiency as a career option, with growing energy demand and cost of generation of electricity, energy efficiency is coming into mainframe. And typically, an unit of energy saved is equivalent to 2 units of energy generated. So there are certain skills that are required for an energy efficiency professional to succeed or to start a career with. And I'm highlighting these skills are: he should be able to prepare an energy management program. The professional should have the ability to envisage the energy saving potential for the firm, business unit, industry. It also include getting the leadership's commitment, establishing energy efficiency team or energy team for the organization. So these are the he should have the ability to run a program from starting to the end. Then conducting an energy review. The professional should have the ability to conduct the energy review. He should be able to collect the energy data, assessment of the energy consumption, identify the major uses and the potential opportunities. This is slightly technical. The technical skill that an energy efficiency professional should possess, because he needs to collect the data, review it, analyze it, and identify the potential and opportunities. Another one is energy management planning. It is for an industry setting the energy management platform, obtaining resources for conducting this energy management thing, determining the performance metrics, evaluating the opportunities, selecting which products should be highlighted right now and which project should be kept for the end, and developing the action plan. These comes under energy management planning. Another one is skill number 4 that professional should possess is measurement and verification. The knowledge and the skill is required for this knowledge and skill is required for monitoring, measuring, and verifying the energy consumption, keeping the track of document, and coming up with a solution for energy saving that can be recommended to the management for implementation. Then reporting and follow up. It requires it requires a professional to prepare a report, provide training to the stakeholder, discuss the findings with the stakeholders, because the stakeholders are the one who actually knows about that what is essential and what is non-essential. So if you don't discuss the findings with the stakeholder, you might end up cutting down something that is essential for the industry. So it is very important to discuss with the stakeholder, follow up. Then after the reporting is being done, then you need to follow up with the concerned team, that are they comfortable in implementation of this thing, and if they are comfortable and if they have started implementation, then you need to monitor that implementation thing. Are they doing it the right way, or we need to intervene so that the desired outcome can be achieved. Then management review. It's like to be getting enrolled with the management, developing a method, developing an energy policy for the industry or for the organization, whatever you are working with the management. Review the progress, modify the goals and action as desired. If there is a certain requirement to change the to modify the goal or the action plan that has been taken previously or 2 years back, now there is some other technology that has come up with, so you need to modify that action plan and evaluate the progress on cost saving due to energy efficiency measures versus the expenses. So this is the ultimate part. The what management looks after is whatever they saved in terms of cost, and what is the amount of money they have spent on energy efficiency measures. So these are the certain skill set that is required, that it is desirable for an energy management professional. Now, next slide is how do we obtain the desired skills? These are very simple steps. Degree in energy studies. Many universities these days are offering 2-year program, that is PG program, in studies like MBA, MTech, and MSc, to grab the opportunities in the sector. And in addition to these, 1-year program is also there by postgraduate program. That is, you need not to leave your current job. By parallel, you can do your achieve this program. And some universities have even started this graduate level program in energy studies. That is 3 years BSc is there, 4 years engineering program is there. So now we can see this energy studies is coming into mainframe. If you have this 3-year or 4-year program in energy studies, you will learn about the value chain of the industry, like generation, transmission, distribution. That other than after this, you will be learning about the trading, power trading, regulatory studies, and overall the scenario of global energy system across the world, how they behave and how they are interrelated, how they're correlated, and how does one affect the other. And in addition to this, you will be exposed to people who are pursuing research and development in the future of energy studies. So it is a shortest and the easiest route to achieve this desired skill. Then certified auditor by BEE. If you have completed your engineering and you're working as a professional, and you don't want to spend full time in studying these degree and diploma courses, you can go for certification by BEE. So it conducts an annual examination every year, and it makes you eligible for conducting energy audit, and it provides you a plethora of information in practical what is being done by energy auditor. And it is also gives you recognition in the industry, because it is well known across the country for this amongst the energy professionals. Then there is CVMP, and this is being offered by AEE, and your team and your students must be more aware about it than I can ever be. So even I am planning to take this examination, CMVP. Then on the job training, this is one of the skills that I found very relevant, because sometimes there are I have seen people across industries who didn't have any of the 3 degree, or they are not certified by anyone, but they still have the lot of detailed information that what exactly is energy saving potential they need to take up, or energy saving systems they need to build. So this on the job training is very, very, very important. And for a young student, if you can have someone who can be mentor for you, and in the industry, so your skills will be multiplied. You will be at different level in terms of being an energy efficiency professional. So next one is upcoming opportunities in the sector. So there are traditional opportunities that already everyone knows about it, like providing energy manager in process industry, which energy. Every process industry requires an energy manager. Then there are firms providing energy audit services. Then there are bigger consultancy firms. They are designing the energy efficiency programs for the corporates or the governments at the national level. So these are traditional energy efficiency professional opportunities. But apart from these 5 opportunities are, I believe, are upcoming, like for next 5 to 7 years, they will dominate. Green buildings, as already been emphasized by the previous 2 speakers, green buildings is very important because there are numerous green building programs are running around the country at both national level and state level. ECBC, that Electricity Conservation and Building Code offered by BEE, and that again states are coming up with their ECBC. Apart from these, Indian Green Building Council, ASSOCHAM, TERI have their own certification on green building, and all the above mentioned certifications have the criteria and provided a significant weightage to energy consumption. So therefore, to obtain a green building certification, they need to implement, they have to implement the energy efficiency measures in their building. So that is where energy efficiency professionals comes in into the picture of energy building. That is during construction. Post construction also, like during the operation and maintenance also, retrofitting is also a bigger also a significant opportunity, because those buildings developed in 1990s or early 2000, they still have the construction quality, or they can still last long for 20-30 years. But the energy efficiency or the energy related things they have fitted are being upgraded to another level, and we can reduce the energy consumption level by implementing some of the measures that are being updated in the industry. Then there is energy audit of DISCOM. On April 15, 2021, Ministry of Power through Bureau of Energy Efficiencies conduct energy audit in Electricity Distribution Companies Regulation Act 2021 came up with and said that every energy DISCOM, that is more than 40 electricity distribution companies in India, will undergo an energy audit every year. So this is a very, very huge opportunity, and at very welcoming time that we are seeing this opportunity, because as you can join the DISCOM as an energy manager or DISCOM's team, or most probably what will happen, the DISCOMs will hire the firms, the energy audit firms, to conduct an energy audit for their company. So each DISCOM, if we see the bigger DISCOM, they require around 4 to 5 persons for conducting the audit. So if 40 DISCOMs, more than 40 DISCOMs, so I expect around 200 energy managers, energy efficiency professionals will be required to conduct this exercise by for Ministry of Power. Then I'll take up smart meters in the last section. Electric vehicle. By 2030, the sales of electric vehicle is expected to be more than IC engine. The main component of electric vehicle is battery, which still has lot to undergo before being perfecting the charging and discharging cycle. And then the IoT is also coming into picture with electric vehicles, where every vehicle is connected to one another. So electric vehicles and the associated part of the charging, discharging. So we can not directly or exactly contribute as an energy efficiency professional, but we can be part of that journey, because it will be a huge opportunity. Huge means huge. This replacement of IC engine to electric vehicle will take place in another 10 years, but gradually it will take place. But if we become part of it right now, so we can see as a full-time career option. We can see electric vehicle as a full-time career option. Research and development. This is an ongoing and continuous practice in every industry, but in energy efficiency also, this research and development can be a mainstream. In the area of blockchain is being explored in the energy efficiency area. Battery technology, as already said, is not is a hotcake for R&D, and EV is just one of the application for them. Another game changer that we are looking for is battery storage substation. that this battery storage substation, if we are successful, then it will provide reliable electricity, because with renewable energy integration is a concern for us. Solar is intermittent, wind is intermittent. If we can fill this gap with battery storage substation, that it will be a game changer. And the aim to move away from coal as a base load station will be achieved earlier than we expect. Now, coming to smart meters, Government of India, through Ministry of Power and Ministry of Finance, wants to roll out 250 million smart meters in India by 2024. And a dedicated implementation agency named IntelliSmart Infrastructure Private Limited has been operating in this area since April 2020. And the project has already been started in UP, Haryana, Bihar, Rajasthan, Andaman, and more than 16 lakh smart meters have already been installed. And in this implementation of smart meter is a gigantic task. And every city that smart meter is being installed, we are looking for someone at the job level of city in charge, who looks after the meter implementation, who talks to the discoms, who does the licensing. This is not exactly related to smart energy efficiency, but it is part of the energy conservation, because with smart meters, the consumer can have access to whatever electricity that they have consumed in the past day or past week, past month. So they can have they can measure the energy that has been consumed, so they can cut down the energy, or they can be focused that how it is being consumed, and they'll be thinking about it, cutting down the consumption. So it is again, the objective is to reduce the energy input and achieve the same output. So not exactly energy efficiency measure. Part of a smart meter is mix of smart energy efficiency and energy conservation. So, and it will accurately record the consumption of the electricity for the consumer, and it will help the discoms to have the accurate billing. And in this COVID area, when it is difficult for the meter reader to go out and take the meter reading, these smart meters, with their ability or with their technology, can provide the meter reading to the discom, can maintain their working capital. So it is again a hot cake for the industry. Everyone is looking to be part of this smart meter journey. Almost every state that we are discussing are in discussion with us for implementation of smart meter in their discom. They can most of the states are doing through a pilot, like 1 lakh meter, 2 lakh meter. But what we envisage is that after another 5 years, this implementation of 250 million smart meter will happen in the country. So I want this team of young professionals to be focused on smart meters, electric vehicles, green building, energy audit of discom, and research and development is always an ongoing opportunity. So this is what I end my presentation. So if we have any question, then we can take up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gorg, for your valuable presentation. What you focused initially with what is efficiency, fantastically defined. Now you defined what are the skills required as an energy professional. It is very good that you emphasized that not only degree, also the on-job training is also required, and this is the advice for the students, mainly for the students. During the on-job training, they should work very hard to grasp the knowledge. Now we are having one question from our student that in the pandemic situation, what you can understand that it is very difficult to do physical internship, right? So it is a question, if you have any suggestion that how management students need to make the online internship more fruitful and effective. So can you please address this issue in this pandemic situation?
Actually, tricky question, because
yeah, it is a very tricky question.
Because you can do the jobs virtually, that is not a problem. But at the internship level, when you seek mentorship from the mentors, and if you are with them, you learn by their body language also. You learn by many things when you are present in office. So yes, you can learn through virtual internships, but the level of learning will be slightly less. And there are organizations that are coming up with virtual internship. I heard that Infosys is trying to enroll students for virtual internship. They want, actually they are a development company, they are IT company, IT firm, so they can hire the students and they can mentor them or ask them to develop the codes uh, through virtually. But for the firms, like for the firms who have more of an industry thing, like if we process industry like our industry, it is very difficult for a student to be uh, to learn things virtually, because we are doing more of a hands-on thing. So I would advise students to be focused more on, if they are getting the opportunity, grab the opportunity and do the internship with the firms that can offer virtually. But uh, when the situation is that when the restrictions are eased out, if you get the opportunity, come join the firms like us, who will give you more tangible experience in the terms of energy efficiency. So this is what I can say, but it's a very tricky question for
Yeah,
student
it
of
is a
energy
very tricky
efficiency.
question. It is very difficult in this pandemic situation to do a physical internship, right? So that's
Right.
why. Yeah. Another question we have got from our student that whenever they want to apply, you told for the B certification, right? So
Right.
whenever they want to apply, they get then one question that 2 to 3 years experience is required. So
Correct.
means as a professional, new professional in the industry. Okay, so but this experience is mandatory, or anyhow we can avoid it.
So
This
this experience
experience.
is mandatory. This experience is mandatory, and that is again related to the on-the-job training that I have talking about. B's the certification that B wants to have, they want the student to have both theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. If you straight pass out of a college and you appear for the examination, I am damn sure that you will be able to clear the examination. You will become a certified professional. But the objective that B wants is you to have the look and feel of the equipments, or the measuring devices is won't be available with you. So even there is a lot of debate is being going on us, and I was being part of that one of the debate, and I opted for that this experience will help the students. It is difficult for the students if they will feel disappointed that they need to have experience, then only after that they will be able to take the certification, but it will benefit them. So this is
Yeah.
my take on
So
this.
yeah. So what you want to tell that to get the certification, that 2 to 3 years on-job training is mandatory, and that students, if they
It is good to have training.
it's good to have training, and then
Good to have training.
they can get the certification. They can get the certification as well as with experience, right?
Right, right.
So any question, one or two questions from the students, anybody?
Acha, can I ask one question?
Yes,
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 sure,
yes,
sure.
yes.
Acha, can you just give an economic comparison of conventional multi-story building and green building of same size? Economical consideration. How much will be extra cost will be required for making it a green building of
Sir,
same size?
okay, so same, everything is same. So if you want to have there are certain levels of green buildings. You can have the starting level green building that is more or less at the same price of a conventional building. So you will get the certification. That is just
Yes.
certification. If you want to cut down on the operating cost, that is like after 3 years to 5 years, if you cut down on the operating cost, so you need to have a green building with a higher certification level. And for higher certification level, obviously you need to shell out something more from your pocket, like you need to install more energy efficient or water efficient, uh, uh, the things like rainwater harvesting tool, uh, things should be installed. Then the concept of net zero building is evolving. So by 2050, it is being envisaged that most of the buildings that we plan or we commission at the time of 2050, it will be net zero building. Again, net zero building won't have any operating cost, but their capex cost will be around 30 to 40% higher than the cost of a conventional building.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. One question again from the student. This is the last question I feel. In that is internet is IoT is required for smart meters.
Correct. So very good question. Even I was waiting for this kind of question. I'm working in smart meters.
Okay. So
Right now, smart meters at the smart meter level, what we are knocking at the consumer's door. Smart meter is at the consumer's door. Internet of Things is inside the door. It is like at the equipment level. So we are there are plans to get inside the door of the consumer so that we can have the detailed out consumption, which equipment is consuming which part of energy or at which time. So for demand response and demand side management thing, this is required. Right now the R&D is going on. So how to get inside the door of a consumer and be part of this equipment level consumption. So for equipment level consumption, Internet of Things is mandatory. So it will come up. It will come up. Wait for another 2 to 3 years. It will come up for sure.
Okay. Thank you so much. You have answered the questions nicely and very in a lucid manner. And your presentation will give the valuable information to the students, professionals, and still, if the students or professionals are having query, they can write on the chat box. We will forward it to Mr. Garg, and definitely Mr. Garg will be happy to reply to us.